40 hours is not as long as I thought it would be, and I'm just kind of dying. Hi guys, Zyger here, welcome back to another video. Now this week, one of the biggest game jams was going on, the GMTK game jam, hosted by Game Maker's Toolkit, aka Mark Brown. Now, I don't really participate in many game jams myself, I've only really participated in two, which was the Ludum Dare competition and also Racky's game jam. So I decided, you know what, let's give this a go. Now, originally I wasn't going to do this at all because I was really busy that week and I had a lot going on just in my personal life. But I decided to take part anyway. However, this time I'm not doing it alone because my friend Avery hit me up and he was like, "Hey Gabby, do you want to, participate in this game jam together?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And he was like, "Okay, cool." So with that, we decided to participate on this game together. Now, if you don't know who my friend Avery is, he has his own YouTube channel which will be linked in the description below. You should check him out because he's starting to make videos. He's also the guy that helped me make Citrus Intolerant, so yeah, links to that will be in the description below if you want to check it out. But I was really excited to start working on this. So the theme was released on Friday at 8 PM for me, which was at noon for Avery because he lives in California and I live in the UK. Now the theme was Out of Control. This theme though, I was really happy about because I had a lot of ideas just in my mind and I think the theme itself is a pretty easy theme to have an idea about. I know there can be themes that are really difficult to think of, but this one was pretty easy for me, I think. And as I said, I was pretty busy, so we didn't get working on this straight away. In fact, only like 3 hours after the theme was released did we start working. So I started by creating a new Unity project, which I called GMTK, because I couldn't think of the name at the time. I then immediately used Unity Collab feature to share this project to Avery. After creating and sharing the project, both me and Avery sat down to brainstorm some ideas. My general idea was that time in reality is out of control, so it keeps changing. For example, sometimes time is slowed down and sometimes it's faster. And Avery's general idea was that there is a machine that keeps falling apart, and you have to put the parts back together. Generally speaking, it was a little out of control. Overall, we decided to join those ideas together. So basically there is a machine that is falling apart, and you need to put the parts back into it and keep it together, because the more broken it becomes, the stronger the reality and time changes. So with that main idea down, we began. Because there was two of us working, we were able to work on different things at the same time. So Avery started by making the main mechanic of the machine. This included the machine breaking down at random times, which would cause different valves and parts to fall out of place. He also made it possible for the player to pick up those valves and pieces and put them back to the machine. While he was doing this, I started working on the first-person controller, as we decided to make our game 3D. I quickly finished the first-person controller and moved on to designing the map/area for the game. To accomplish this, I opened up Photoshop and designed a few layouts, after shortly deciding to go for this one. This design is a two-story design where we have the bottom part of the machine and these catwalks that circle the machine. From the catwalks we have different parts/lanes leading onto the machine, where the player can try and put the parts back together. Basically this separates the machine into two parts, the bottom and the top, which means the player needs to run up and down to fix the machine, which makes it more manic. For those who don't understand, basically parts will be flying off the machine and you need to pick them up and place them back to their original place. So sometimes they will be on the bottom part of the machine and sometimes at the top. I then spent many hours designing the level. I started by just using basic Unity 3D objects to get the general layout of the scene. After completing this, I realised that I had some snap packs that I got ages ago, and looking at them there were a few industrial packs, which is the theme that we were going for. So I installed them and continued to design the level. I used a lot of the assets as they helped bring the scene to life. Now, this took me a while to get looking right. It was difficult to mix and match assets and make them look cohesive. It was also very time consuming to make this level look full. Overall, it ended up looking okay, but I know I could have made it look better if I had more time. But once again, I did have to leave throughout this challenge, which made it difficult to make this level look nice. After completing the map, here it is in its full glory. I should also mention that I added post-processing and other visual effects, along with particles and lighting. At this point, Avery also finished the mechanics, so he implemented it into this level. So here is a quick overview of the level itself. At this point the level was pretty much done, however there was one main mechanic that I had to implement myself, an elevator. So as I spoke before, there is different levels in this game, so we have the top level, which is the catwalk, and the bottom level. Well, we also need a way of the player to be able to get up to the catwalk, so an elevator / platform thingy is gonna work well. The implementation of this wasn't that difficult in all fact. I just made two different points, a bottom and a top, and I added a script to the box, which was the elevator, which was actually a 3D cube. Anyways, this script basically made it so that the platform would travel to the top or the bottom depending where it starts. So for example, if it's at the top, it'll go to the bottom, and if it's at the bottom, it'll go to the top with a simple press of E. After doing this, the main level was pretty much finished and it was now time to move on to other parts of the game. Then, while Avery was working on some other features, I started to make the main menu. This didn't take too long, but I managed to make this little cool menu with sound effects and other cool little parts. I also added ambient noise and animations in the background to make it feel more immersed. I added this swing script to some of the lamps to just make them look cool, to be honest. I also made some cool camera transitions with a simple LURP system on them. And yeah, this is the main menu. I should also mention that I implemented settings into the game, which is pretty snazzy. Finally, a little question mark button to explain to the player what the game is about and its goal. With the main menu finished, I wanted to make a cutscene at the start of the level. I wanted a way to tell a story so the player understands what is going on. To accomplish this, I made a new scene where I added the same camera LURP move function to move between different points. I also modeled a little ball AI inspired from Portal 2, which I attached to the camera. I set up a timing system to move between the different spots, and at the end I made a transition into the game scene. I then added some particles and lighting effects, and some sounds to make it feel more alive. The last few things I made was recorded some voice lines which I edited to make them sound like an AI/robot. I added them into the game and made sure the timing was right, and added a few subtitles here and there so the player can also read it. So without further ado, here is the cutscene.
You have been travelling on the Avalon for a while, until you hear rumbling and screeching, and you notice that your ship is under attack. With no time to waste, keep the reality drive stable, while I, the autopilot, tries to repair the damage. But remember, don't let it get too out of control. Ha ha ha. Or reality will be altered.
So both me and Avery were running out of time at this point, so we managed to polish a few things here and there to make it look a bit better. We also rushed the ending of the game, so we made a winner screen and a game over screen. But let me tell you, it was bad. But we were literally running out of time. I managed to record some voice lines and Avery added them into the game, so they randomly play at random times, which I guess makes it more fun. We also implemented the reality time-changing aspect and added visual effects for all of that. And here comes the moment when both me and Avery realised we have 2 minutes to submit and build our game. So welcome to this shit show of me and Avery trying to publish our game in the last 2 minutes.
I'm sorry, Gabby. We're deleting it. Who needs settings? Fuck it.
Avery's gonna build the fucking thing. Right, no time to, Right, Avery, you're just gonna have to log into my account.
Okay.
Just quickly build
Paste
the thing.
details somewhere. Go, 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 go.
Hurry up, hurry up. No.
Literally, we have a minute. A minute.
Oh my, it's literally nearly there at the end. You've got to go.
Fucking go. Are you done? Are you done? Okay, okay.
Save. Just it's at the top. It's at the top. It's at the top or the bottom, whichever one.
Okay. Let's say.
Go to the other one. Go to the other one.
Refresh this.
Submit your page. Submit your page. 38 seconds. Quick, hurry up. Time warp.
With what? How does your game fit the theme? What?
Out of control. Out of control.
It is out of control.
Unity, just select Unity.
Unity.
You've got to hurry up. You've got to hurry up. We've got 15 seconds. Did you submit?
I hit submit. Awesome. Your game has been submitted.
Oh my god. We had
fucking 10 seconds left. Oh, can you imagine? Oh my god.
Could you imagine if it didn't allow us to submit it? Now links to this game will be in the description below if you want to go ahead and check it out. And I really, really strongly ask you to go ahead and rate our game. Here's the thing though, here are my final thoughts about it. Both me and Avery thought that this wasn't our best game. We both thought that we could have done a lot more work. Now, as I said, I was pretty busy and I did have to keep leaving, and I apologise to Avery about that. I've already apologised and everything, because I definitely didn't spend 48 hours on it, and I feel like I could have done a lot more work. So this game isn't perfect, it's definitely not one of my best games, and I'm happy though that I did it because it was a cool experience. And I'm gonna just kind of strongly advise you guys, if you can take part in game jams, go ahead and do it if you have the time. Even if you don't finish, it's just good to have the experience and you learn a lot about it, because I definitely learned a lot of cool tricks that I'll be using in my other projects and games. So it's really, really awesome, and I strongly advise you to do that. Overall, my thoughts are that our game was pretty good, but it did lack a lot of things, and I think we could have definitely made it a lot better. I think the general idea that we had was a lot better than a lot of other ideas that I saw, and I think the idea itself was awesome, but the execution wasn't the best. So if I do have another go at this, and in the future, in the next GMTK game jam or whatnot, or just in any game jam in general, I have learned so much that I will definitely not make these mistakes again. But once again, I'm just going to strongly advise you guys to try out different game jams and try out a game. There'll be links to it in the description below. Once again, don't expect anything great from it, because I was gone for half of the game jam. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe and comment down below. I really appreciate your help just in general, and I really just appreciate your support. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out that game and yeah, just rate it and whatnot. So thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! Oh, don't forget to check out Avery, links in the description. I also want to give a massive shout out to all my Patreons, Smoke and Vita, Yan, Nicole Dans and Noob. Thank you so much for your support.